Hi there folks, I'm voicing over this short time-lapse today. Last week I went to two neighbors of our village tribe, as we call it, so I can help with the winter pruning of their young orchards and use the opportunity to teach the guys some basics about fruit tree pruning so they can do it themselves next year, with just probably overseeing on my part and maybe some intervention in the hardest spots. The first orchard consists of a number of trees spread over a currently mostly empty plot of about half an acre. I did come through here last year, but most of the pruning was done by me, and it seems that it was not enough of an experience for my friend to actually do the pruning this year on his own. And at some point the other neighbor joins us and helps us finish the orchard number one before we move to his place nearby. So you can see us going tree by tree and me mostly pointing and explaining and doing a few example cuts here and there. The goal for the most of the trees, with a few exceptions, is getting them more spread out and side growing and not too tall. There are systemic problems or errors that were done early in the planting of the orchard, so most of the trees are still weak and growing slowly, but it's something that cannot be fixed without uprooting the whole lot and starting over, so I work within the context as usual. This plum tree is the biggest of them all and one in the most dire need of pruning. We removed maybe 30% of the whole crown, and I hope to remove more next winter. We also did a small session on current pruning, renewing, sucker selection, shaping, propagation and more. Here we are where we move along that fence. There's a currant hedge of about 15 currant bushes in the making. And now we move to the second orchard. Here last year there was no pruning done, and in the previous 4 or 5 years the previous owner did very minimal intervention. There were two very drastic examples where the grafted tree actually died and the rootstock tree sprouted and grew for several years, so we had to remove two large wild plums and a wild cherry, with the idea that they will resprout again, and this time on the new growth it will be cultivated and then grafted, potentially next winter, so we can replace the lost trees. The owner wants some of the selected trees to grow taller here for shade, so we didn't prune as aggressively for sideways growth here. And at the end there is this weeping willow that broke in half last summer in a storm and regrew too wildly, so we pruned that and used all of the good sized cuttings for rooting, with the idea of making a living hedge in the orchard to shelter it somewhat from the bad northwest wind and snowdrift. So that was all for today, and I'll see you in the next one.